He is looking at you. Not through you, not past you, at you. He is waiting for you to speak. His hands are still, and somewhere across the water tonight, his mother is dead. You know this. Because you were there when the order was given. You said nothing. You are the most powerful soldier in the Roman Empire. You command the men who protect the emperor himself. And tonight, you let a son kill his mother. This is where the story ends. But to understand why you said nothing, we have to go back to beginning. You first saw her when Nero was 7 years old. Agrippina the Younger, daughter of a general, sister of an emperor, and the most calculating woman you had ever seen. She walked into rooms differently than other people, not with power, with certainty. As if she had already decided how everything would end, and was simply waiting for everyone else to catch up. She had one goal, her son on the throne of Rome. You watched her seduce an emperor, Claudius, her own uncle. You watched her change Roman law so that an uncle could marry his niece. She didn't ask for permission. She made permission unnecessary. And when Claudius hesitated, when he slowed down, when he became more obstacle than instrument, she poisoned his mushrooms. You were there when they carried him out. You said nothing then either. Because Agrippina looked at you across that room and you understood. This was not a murder. This was a promotion for all of you. Nero became emperor at 17 and Agrippina became Rome. For the first 5 years, you held him together. You and Seneca, the soldier and the philosopher, two men trying to make a boy into something Rome could survive. Nero was not cruel in the beginning. He was lost, 17 years old, emperor of the world, and terrified. He wanted to sing, to perform, to be loved by the crowd, not feared by it. You thought you could work with that. Agrippina disagreed. She had not poisoned an emperor and changed Roman law and waited 17 years for a son who wanted to sing. The fights between them were quiet. That was the dangerous kind. Agrippina at one door, Nero at another, and you standing between them every day. Then Nero met Poppaea, and everything you had built in 5 years began to crack. Poppaea Sabina, married to someone else, brilliant, ambitious, and completely certain that she deserved more than she had been given. She looked at Nero the way Agrippina had looked at Claudius, and you recognized it immediately, because you had seen it before, and you knew exactly how it ended. Poppaea wanted one thing, to be empress. There was only one problem. Nero already had a wife, Octavia, Claudius's daughter, quiet, dignified, beloved by Rome, and a mother who would never allow it. Poppaea understood something you had missed. Agrippina was not protecting Rome. She was not protecting Nero. She was protecting her own power. And Nero was beginning to see it too. The argument started small. A dinner Agrippina was not invited to. A decision made without her. A door closed in her face. You watched Agrippina's face each time it happened. She did not rage. She did not plead. She recalculated. And then she made a mistake. The only mistake she ever made. She threatened him, not with words, with what she knew. She reminded Nero that she had made him emperor, and that she could unmake him just as easily. You were in the room when she said it. You watched something change behind Nero's eyes, not anger, something colder. Fear becoming calculation. He came to you that night, sat across from you at that same stone table, and asked you a question you were not prepared for.
What would you do if the greatest threat to Rome was your own mother?
You said nothing again. You did not know about the ship. That was the first thing you told yourself afterward. You did not know. It was Anicetus who built it, Nero's fleet commander, a ship designed to sink on purpose with one passenger. Nero invited his mother to dinner. Reconciliation, he called it. He was warm that evening, attentive, the son she had always wanted him to be. You watched her face when he embraced her. She almost believed it. Almost. The ship sank that night. Agrippina survived. She swam to shore. When the messenger arrived,
Caesar! She survived! Agrippina reached the shore. She is alive! Boris.
Not my men, Caesar. If you want this done, find someone else.
he found Anicetus. Agrippina was at her villa when they arrived. She saw them coming. She knew. They say her last words were to the soldiers.
Strike here. This is what bore Nero.
And that night, Nero came back to the table, sat across from you, looked at you, and said nothing. For the first time, it was him who said nothing. After Agrippina, Nero was different. Not immediately, not obviously, but you saw it, because you had been watching him since he was 17 years old, and you knew every version of him. The guilt lasted about a year. He had nightmares. He left Rome for a while, said he could not sleep in the city where he had given the order. You thought maybe this was the thing that would bring him back. Guilt can do that sometimes. Remake a person. It didn't. Octavia was divorced, accused of adultery, a charge everyone knew was invented. She was exiled, then executed. She was 22 years old. Poppaea became empress. You watched the ceremony from across the room. You had warned him. He had not listened. He never listened anymore. The executions began. Not enemies this time. Friends. Men who had served Rome their entire lives. Men you had known for 20 years. Gone. On Nero's word. Without trial. Without reason. You could see. You went to him. One last time. You stood in that room. The same room where you had said no 3 years before. And you told him the truth. That he was becoming everything his mother had tried to prevent. That Agrippina, for all her ruthlessness, had kept him from this. That without her, he was just Caligula with better taste in music. He looked at you for a long time. Then he smiled, not warmly, the way you smile at someone who no longer matters. You died in 62 AD, a tumor, they said, in your throat, though people whispered about the medicine Nero's physician had provided. You were 61 years old. You never knew what came after. The great fire of Rome, the persecution of the Christians, Seneca forced to open his veins, Nero's own suicide, alone in a villa outside the city, too afraid to do it himself, needing a servant's help at the end. You never knew, and perhaps that was a mercy. You said no, once, in a room full of people who said yes to everything. You said no. It wasn't enough. Nero burned Rome. Nero killed his wife. Nero killed his teacher. Nero died alone, begging a servant to finish what he couldn't. 30 years old. You never saw any of it. Perhaps that was a mercy. But the story didn't end when you closed your eyes. 9 more years. 9 years of fire. 9 years of betrayal. 9 years of a man destroying everything his mother built. Everything you protected. That story is waiting for you. 0 to now, betrayed. Every empire has a traitor, and Nero betrayed everyone, including himself. Subscribe. The rest is already waiting.